Hey everyone, welcome back to the bench and to another basic skills in wire jewellery and to part 2 of one frame, 2 designs. So last week was all about weaving and we learnt how to weave round corners. This week's all about adding some beads to that frame. So what are we talking about? So let's have a look, shall we? Come on. So this is what we're up to today. As you can see, same frame from last week. Exactly the same. But instead of the weave, we're going to add some beads in down the side here. And also, we're going to strap in some wire in that space there at the same time. So we're going to up our wrapping skills on this one. Most definitely going to up it. But I will have to say this, and I have to shout out to Deborah, because you are correct, Deborah. It's now a fish. I can't see anything else but a fish. That's all I can see. Designed it as a leaf, but you're right. Turned it on the side, and all I can see is a fish now. It's now a fish. That's what it is. It's not a leaf. This is a fish now. Won't deny it. Nice one, Deborah. I can't unsee it. Thank you. Anyhow, we're making this today, so let's crack on and see what tools we're going to need. Right, as usual, let's go through the tools I shall be using today. Exactly the same as the last video. I haven't changed anything. So let's go through them quickly. Chain nose, flat nose, flush cutters, nylon jewel pliers for straightening wire, pair of bell pliers, 6mm for making a jump ring round. Tweezers come in real handy when you start doing heavy weaving and wrapping. Files, something to clean your ends of your wire as we're going along. Metal ruler, marker pen, chasing hammer, rubber hammer, metal block. Now, this is the important one you need. You need a form of 30mm, 3 centimeters in diameter to bend your wire around. This could be anything. Could be a rolling pin, could be a handle on something. But look around the house if you haven't got something like this. Just look around for something that's 30mm, 3 centimeters. Wire sizes today. Again, I'll be using 16 gauge for the main frame. But if you find it hard to work with 16 gauge, I highly recommend just going down to 18 gauge. Nothing wrong with that. You can make this in 18 gauge. Wrapping wire today will be 28 gauge, 0.3mm. My favourite. Always use that one. Now the bead sizes I've got here, going to be a little thing. They start around 7mm, and then I think the medium size one is around about 5mm, and the bottom size one is around about 4mm. And I have 6 of them. 2 of each size. Ooh, don't want to drop that one. Right then, let's make some jewellery. Right, to start this project off, let's make the frame again. Now I know I showed you in the last video, but some of you might be watching this video for the first time and haven't seen the last video, so we might as well go over the frame again. So, take yourself a piece of 16 gauge, 1.25 or 18 gauge 1mm, and cut it to 18 centimeters long. I have a piece here ready to go. Take your marker pen and mark the center of this wire, like so. Then get your 3 centimeter form that you're going to bend round, holding that center mark with your finger and thumb, like so. Bring the wires around each side evenly so they cross at the top, and you're looking to make a teardrop shape. Now you're not allowed to go all the way around, but see, still quite tight there. There we go. Perfect. And you're looking to make a kind of a teardrop shape. Now, I'm going to take our flat nose pliers. We're going to line up with that center mark, like so. I have that side of the pliers lined up there. And then just leaning into my thumb, I'm just going to put a kink. And bend it into, there you go, a leaf shape of sorts. Perfect. Like so. Cool. Then we're going to take our marker pen and we're going to mark where the wires cross, like so. We're then going to take our flat nose pliers again. And then gripping that mark, again, noticing that my left hand part of the pliers is on that side of the mark. I'm going to turn. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. I just remembered. Better bring this back in. God, I'm forgetting my own design. Right then, don't turn the wire back in. Put your flat nose pliers to one side and get your form. Right, but get this right. And then we're going to take that wire, we're going to bend it round the form. The opposite direction to the other bend. So take this that way. There we go. You're creating like an S shape. Now you grab your flat nose pliers. Now you grab that mark. Get it right, Jim. And on that mark, what you're going to do is you're going to turn this side in towards the frame. I'm just going to pick this up. A little bit easier to work with, up high. See my mark there? The pliers in. And I'm going to lean into my thumb again, especially with the heavy gauge wires. I'm going to push down. There we go. Cool. Pretty pleased with that. I'm happy. Not quite got the bend exactly on the halfway mark, but actually when it all comes together, it looks good. Like so. Perfect. Now we have our frame made, we need to consider, well, we need to make our spiral that sits in this gap here. Now, you can make that at the same size as your frame one. There's no problem. But if you're using some 16 gauge and you're finding it hard to work with, again, it gets harder to work with when it gets smaller. Now, this is where I would say go over to 18 gauge, which is 1mm wire, and make it out of that. That's what I'm going to do, because I kind of want to make these opposite from each other, these to marry up. So yeah, just to show you that actually this could make a good earring as well. As you can see, I've made sure my beads are on the opposite sides. So to make a spiral, well, as you see a double spiral to go in here, you're going to need about 5 centimeters or 50mm of wire. Now, that's just an average. You might need to trim. You might need to take off a few millimeters. It might be 45mm. It might be 48mm. It really depends, because everybody's size is going to be a fractional difference. So I recommend, what I recommend is you make a 5mm one. Make sure you're flush cut at both ends. And basically see if it fits. And you're looking to create an open spiral, because when it becomes wrapping later, it becomes really easy to wrap. You could make one spiral smaller than the other, it's up to you. But what you're looking for do is to get it to fit in that space. Like so. Now that's a fraction too big, as you can see. It's going to be a little bit too big. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have a trim, and I'm going to take off those straight bits on each end, which is getting rid of probably about 3mm. And then I'm just going to tighten those spirals up. Just using my chain nose here. Let's check to see if that fits. That's a lot better. We're getting there. We're getting there. Just need to tighten the top up again a little bit more. So check that out. Perfect. Pretty happy with that. But what I do actually have is one I made earlier, which I prefer. Got a bit tighter curl to it, as you can see. But exactly the same way. In fact, could be that way around, could be the other way around. Anyhow, like I say, you're going to have to make a bit of judgment, maybe make a few until you get the right one that fits absolutely perfect. Right, before we get wrapping, let me get the piece of paper out and give you a demonstration on, well, draw how I'm going to wrap these beads in. Right, before we get started, I need to talk about wrapping. And it really comes down to your beads. That's what we're looking at here, is it comes down to how big is the hole in your beads. Now, these are lovely crystals I got here, but they are hand drilled, I do believe, and they're very tiny holes. So especially on these two sizes here, these two first sizes, I couldn't get the wire to go through like that, either side. I could only get one wire going through, which is nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine, but it determines the way you wrap. So because I can only get one wire through it, let me turn this over. As you can see from the back here, we have a wire that comes straight across underneath the bead. Now this is quite a bonus really. It kind of helps keep the bead there, stops the bead from coming through the gap a little bit, gives the bead something to rest on. So, and also aesthetically it looks fine. So there's nothing wrong with doing that. But also you could wrap this without having those going down through, because originally when I first started this design, that was what I was aiming for, but I couldn't because of the bead size, the holes in the beads. So I couldn't do that. So what am I talking about? Let's have a quick look. I've got the old paper out here and I'm going to do my best now to explain the wrapping. So let's go over with what I've done first with this one here. So when we're going to come in, we're just wrapping. That's all we're doing. We're just wrapping. We're not weaving. But what I do want, as you've noticed with this design, is when I'm wrapping, I want the wire to come over the top and then through the bead. So the bead sits a little bit proud and the wire's coming over the top, not from underneath. So I need to start a certain way because I need my wire coming round and through the top there. And obviously I need my wire this side coming round and across the bottom. So when I'm starting, I'm going to come in at the side. So we're going to take off a big length of wire. We're going to start in the middle of that wire and we're going to place it there. And then we're going to wrap down the sides. So when I start off to do this one here, I'm going to come in at an angle. Ignore the bead. Like so. So one wire's coming around this way and then the other one's coming around this way. And that's the wrapping I will do. And then when it's time to go through the bead, come across, this one will come across through the bead, straight across. This one will come across straight like that. Then it's back in its direction it needs to be. Quite simple. Now, the other way of doing this is by bringing the two wires through the middle of the bead. Now that starts off a little bit different because what you want is you want both your wires to be wrapping round this way. So they're ready to come through a bead. So you're wrapping around this way. So it's an easy way of starting that off. The easiest way to start that off, obviously, is you bring your wire flat across the back here and then you start wrapping like that. But when you come through to go through the bead, the difference is you could come straight across, but you're now going the wrong direction. You want to be going that direction. So when you come through the bead, you kind of have to do a weave. You come through the bead like so, and then you're back in the right direction for wrapping. It's not that complicated. I hope I'm not making it too complicated. But there are two different ways of approaching this. This is up to you. It really is. Comes down to aesthetics and what you fancy doing, and obviously comes down to the size of the hole in your bead. Right then, let's actually get started and do some wrapping. All right, let's cut some wire so we can get wrapping. Now, in the last video, I did suggest to wrap off the roll, but for this project, we got to cut some wrapping wire. Now, how much do you need is the age-old question. Now, since the fact I made this a few times and I kind of worked it out, you're going to need about 2 meters of wrapping wire. Now, I have a 600mm, 60 centimeters ruler here. I'm going to be using this, and I'm just going to pull off 2, 3, and the extra 20. There we go. Oh, my wire's fallen on the floor. That'll do. Just over 2 meters. Trim off. And now I'm going to fold the wire in half. Find that center mark, roughly. I'm not going to mark it. All I'm going to do, there we go. Put a loop in like that. Like so. I'm going to put that to one side. Going to take our frame, grab yourself your marker pen and get your beads out. Now what we're looking to do is, let's get our beads in there and we're going to make marks. Whoops, daisy, let's try and not trash the joint while we're doing it. We're going to put our beads in and we're going to make a mark where the holes are, or where the wire needs to cross the join. Let's get all of them in. I'm just going to use my fingers, a little quicker. Perfect. Making sure they all fit. There we go, lovely. And also, I'm going to place my spiral in. Where that's going to go. What I want you to do now with your marker pen, I want you to mark where you're going to join the beads. Now, you got to decide here when you're wrapping, am I going to come from the inside over or am I going to come from the outside over? Now, I'm going to come from the outside over because it's easier for me to mark on the outside for my beads, and then I can put some marks on the inside for where my spirals join. In fact, let's get that more central. There we go. So take your marker pen, like I said, and just put a dot where the hole is on the outside. There we go. And then on the inside part of the frame, mark where you're going to be joining your spirals. It's going to be just there, and it's going to be just there. Like so. Put your beads and the spirals to one side, and let's get wrapping. Now let's begin wrapping, shall we? So, starting halfway down your wrapping wire, place it in on your frame. Now remember how to start. So I'm looking to join from the outside, so I'm looking to come over the wire this way. And on that inside part of the frame, I'm looking to come under. So as you can see, I've come through at an angle like so. That wire is now ready to go over and under. This wire is ready to come under and over. So I can join the bead from this side. So be aware. Doesn't matter which side you join from, but just be aware which way you're wrapping. If you're wrapping the same as me, like this way. But if you're doing the other way where you are going to get both wires to go through, remember, you're looking to come over. So really, you just start at the bottom like that. Straight at the bottom. But I need the angle. So just get started. Both sides. Get 2 or 3 wraps in. And like I showed you in the last video, again, we want to keep this space here clear, because these two halves are going to join together later on, like so. So just keep your fingernail or thumbnail in there to stop the wraps from sliding round the corner. Now, on that inside, don't put too many wraps in, because you could go too far. So yeah, just get 2 or 3 wraps on the inside and then go to the outside and start working on the outside until you get down to your first mark. As you get close to your mark, stop, bring the wire across, have a look. Where are you? So I'm close to my first mark now, pretty much on it. So looking like I may need to add a wrap or 2 at the top, so I'm just going to put 1 in, and then I'm going to get the bead on. I could never become a seed beader. Too fiddly, you know. Get your bead on, get it all the way down to your bottom of your frame. Bring it across, have a look. Do I need to add any more wraps? I think I do at the top, maybe 2. I might even need to add 1 at the bottom as well, so I'm just going to pull the bead back. I'm going to add an extra wrap in at the bottom. Again, just going to stick another wrap in. Once you get this started, it becomes a lot easier. By the time you get to the second and third bead, it, as usual, becomes very much easy to do. There you go, I'm happy with that. I need to add a few wraps in at the top. Cool. And then we should join up. Now be aware at the top here, you're getting close to the point where you need to add the spiral in. You might find these two marry up. As you can see here, I'm getting very close to my mark for the spiral. In fact, I'm pretty much bang on it. I think I'll get one wrap in with this and then I'll be joining the spiral. Right then, let's come across. So I like to, when doing this, come across the bottom first and place that wire in before I put the bead one in. And because I can get it nice and tight and nice and flat. Oh, there we go. Sorry, better focus there. Nice and tight and nice and flat right across. So get that one in and get a couple of wraps in. Make sure it stays where it is. Cool. Now bring the bead in. I'm just going to get one wrap in, hold it in tight. In fact, I'll probably get another wrap in, and now I'm going to get my spiral out. Where have I placed it? There we go. You'll see why now we create an open spiral, because it's a lot easier to attach in. Yeah, let's attach the spiral in. Again, this bit's a little fingers and thumbs, I won't deny it. But once that spiral's in, it's in. How many times you wrap the spiral in is up to you. I'm going to go around until I can fit a nice a single wrap cleanly down the side there. Probably one more time. And obviously be careful as well, because you don't want to rub them too far, because remember, you've got to bring your bead across and come underneath. So, oh, pretty close. Oh, there you go. I'm happy with that. Actually, I'm not going to go around one more time. I want that looking nice and tight. Back to the base wire. And wrap up to my next mark, which I'm pretty close to as it already. As you get close to your mark, get your bead on. Your next bead on. Try not to overwrap. If you can. Because you could run out of room quickly and you won't be able to get all your beads on. In fact, here's a great example of overwrapping now. I might have overwrapped at the top by just a little bit. I'm going to put the bead, I'm going to add another wrap or two for the bead. Just move it out the way. Cool, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to unwrap this once at the top here, then bring it straight across the bottom. Here's a tip for you. If you had to unwrap any wrapping, again, you're gentle with your nylon jewel pliers, you can help straighten that wrapping wire out. Because that's now a weak spot that could easily be broken. Trust me, I've broken plenty. Now again, I'm going to bring it across the bottom first, get the couple of wraps in, then add the bead in. There we go. I'm happy with that. That's looking pretty good. The base there, you can see the wire coming straight across the bottom there. Right then. Time for a bit of fast forwarding while I do the rest. Oh, before I move on, just to remind you again, make sure your beads are close and touching together. Now, it's especially important for me because I know I've only got enough room just to get them down the bottom there. Any extra wraps here and any gaps in them, my last bead's not going to fit in. So just be aware of that. Try and underwrap than overwrap. It's a lot easier. Right, let's go into fast forward mode and get this done. Now I'm ready to join the second spiral in, but as you can see, I'm going to have to wrap on down through. Just remarking where the next bead goes, because the mark has been rubbed off. pretty pleased this is looking good. Everything's in line, everything's going quite well. Right then, all the beads are on, and we've wrapped down towards the end there. Now, what we need to do here is we need to tidy this end up. So, let's restart that. 3, 2, 1. Right, we've wrapped all the way down now. We're down to the base. Beads all fit, spirals in, everything's there. So this half of the wire on the base wire here is what we're going to use now to wrap all the way up to here. But we need to do something with this. So just wrap up until you are touching. There we go. You can see. Oh, there we go. There I'm in focus. Wrap up until you're up against the outside base wire. I'm going to bring it around the once, and I'm going to trim it off to the underneath. Take a moment. Get your chain nose, make sure nothing's sticking out. Not chain nose. Yeah, chain nose. Get the right word there. And you want your end tucked underneath there, because what's going to happen now is we're going to trim this and we're going to tuck that under there. We're going to join it to here, and our end is going to be right underneath and hopefully won't get caught. Right, let's sort this bit out. So get your flat nose for the moment and just straighten it out. That's not looking too bad. Happy with that. Now, this is where you want to now bring it round to the back. Now be careful you don't misshapen your frame here. Fold it over. See? What did fold it over? Now with your tools, just sit there, straighten it out, make it look neat and tidy. Cool. I'm happy with that. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to trim. But as you can see, I'm leaving myself about. There we go. Now we're in focus. You can see I'm leaving myself about 2 to 3 mil, like so. See that? Now you're going to get your flat nose here, or chain nose. What I'm going to do, I call it a squeeze and a roll technique. So you're going to squeeze and roll at the same time. Squeeze and roll. This is where your chain nose do come in handy for that last little bit. You can see there, squeeze and roll. There we go, joined up. I'm happy. So that end shouldn't come undone because it's hopefully tucked underneath, like so. So with the rest of your wrapping wire now, you need to wrap down there. Oh, sorry, there we go, back in focus. We need to now wrap down there up to that point. This time, you're going to have to feed it in. Actually, just thought of something while I'm wrapping this. You could have wrapped up there, then joined that in. Save yourself doing this fiddly bit I'm doing myself. So it's often when you make stuff, you need to make it over and over again. You realise, oh, I should have done that. Either way, doesn't matter so much. We will get there. Cool, so you wrap up to that point. When you get to this point, either go over the top or underneath. And then carry on wrapping down the other side. And then don't forget, we need to join in our spirals as we go. Well then, starting to get to near the top now. There we go, that's better focus there. Starting to get to the top here. I'm going to put a couple more wraps in, I'm going to finish there. Then, to join the two halves together, middle there, I'm going to wrap up until I'm in the middle of that bend. There we go. There we go. There we go. In focus. One more time. And now I'm going to put in a weave. Just the one weave. There we go. Just the one weave. Like so. And like I showed you in the last video, how to get rid of, how to finish the wire off. So I'm just going to wrap around the weave a couple of times. Like so. Just going to come around. Yeah, I'm going to go around twice. There we go. There we can see. Two neat wraps around there. And I'm going to bring the wire around to the back. I'm going to trim it off at the back. Like so. And then I'm going to take my tweezers. I'm going to tack it in and get it tacked under the wire at the back. There we go. Hopefully that won't come undone. He says. It's always a tricky one, what do you do with your ends of your wires. Tuck them around the back of things and underneath things. That's all I can say. If there's an opportunity to tie a knot, we can do that. But here there isn't. So I'm going to run my fingers over. I can't feel it. I think we're pretty good. It's not going to get caught. Right then, let's turn this into a spiral. Grab your ruler. Now, what size spiral is up to you. I'm going to try and keep it the same as this one here. Now, I do believe that one was 2.5 centimeters, 25 mil. So, yeah, trim your wire, making sure you flush cut. 25 mil, like so. Where I get your file the end of your wire. There you go. Sorry, just quite in focus. You're looking for a flash, like so. Now, I'm going to do this. Start this off with my chain nose, grabbing the tip, and then turning. There we go, all the way down. Now, I want to make this into a bit of a closed spiral. I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to close it up just yet. Let's get the hammer out and give this a hammer. Now, not looking to hammer the whole thing. I'm just looking to hammer that edge around there. Again, this is more for aesthetics. When polished, it should look good. There we go, pretty happy with that. And when you're happy, maybe close it back up. Cool, not too bad, but I might give that a bit of a hammer. I can get in there. Excellent. Right, let's make a jump ring to go through this. So, again, if you have been watching my videos, you might have some twisted wire from a couple of videos back lying about to use up, which I have here. So let's make a jump ring out of something like this. Something nice and thick. What have we got here in the pot? There you go. I should be ready for this, shouldn't I? But I'm not. In fact, I think, oh, there it is. I found it. There it is. I was looking for it. So, grab yourself some twisted wire. Bell pliers. You're going to want to get your bell pliers out. 6mm bell plier. And we're going to bend round and create one jump ring. So remember to flush cut into your jump ring. In fact, I'm going to come in just a couple of turns. Half a turn. There we go. Turn around. I'm going to do my best to try and get them to match up. The twists. It's a tricky one. Pretty close. Not too bad. Let's put that on our piece of jewellery. We're going to pop that on. And close it up. Job done. There we go. One frame, two designs. Where's the last video's one? Well, I'm pretty pleased that came out well. I'm happy with that. I'm going to be really honest with you. It took me 4 takes to get this right. I broke wire quite a few times, but we got there in the end, and I'm pretty pleased with that. In fact, these are so good. I think we need a bit of a montage, polishing and liver sulfur montage. These look so good. They need to be polished. Right, let's crack on and have a montage. Right, patina's been removed and we've had a bit of a polish. I've only used the polishing pads. I do believe I might get the Dremel drill out and give this a bit of a deeper shine. I think it deserves it. I'm pretty happy with it. Pretty pleased. Let's look at the back, how that come out. That's come out pretty well. Looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. And here's part 1's design. And yes, I agree, it's a fish. It's definitely a fish. Oh, there we go, back in focus down there. But yeah, they both come out really well. I think the patina does suit them. Yeah, give it a go. Nice one. Excellent. There you go, people. 1 frame, 2 designs. Possibly a 3rd, 4th, and a 5th. I'd love to see what you're doing. I'd love to see what you're taking away from this design and what you're coming up with. So please tag me on Facebook and Instagram and show me what you're up to. Nice one. It's been good fun doing this. Just a reminder, so next week we're going to have another Beats at the Bench, another DJ session from me to give me a bit of breathing room. But I've got a really good reason I need some breathing room. I don't want to announce anything. I don't want to say anything now, but I've got some really good news. I'll post a video Saturday and you'll know all about it. Nice one, people. I look forward to seeing you guys all back at the bench very soon. Take care. Bye-bye. To support this channel and help me keep making more videos, please come on over to join my Patreon, where you'll get early access to all my videos, free downloads of my books and tutorials, and entries into my giveaways and more.